The mood is right, the spirit's up, it's podcast time, full of silly stuff. Don't worry, I'm not going to break into song, Alan can do that later. With no game to reflect on from the weekend after Grimsby was frozen off, we're treating you to an hour or so of festive fun. I use the word treating very, very lightly indeed. Of course we'll throw some actual football chat in as we look ahead to the festive period, but it's mainly an online Christmas party tonight. We've got a virtual parlour game in the form of Room 101. We've got silly quizzes, Stags-themed teasers, and the answer to Santas Stagmas Calendar from day 22, and the big man himself. This is the Mansfield Matters Christmas special. As ever, feel free to get involved in the comments on the live feed and to play along with some of our silly games tonight. That's enough from me though. It's time to hand over to the busiest man in town. Well, he soon will be. It is, of course, with a very special festive ditty, the big man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Santa! Oh my God, I know him!
Mansfield Matters is the place where guests all have a good chat, mainly about Mansfield Town, and we are very proud of that. But now Christmas is upon us, and the season's nearly half done. On this week's Mansfield Matters podcast, it's time for some festive fun. Craig asked me to write a ditty, and it's something I like to do. Who remembers the Biscuit song? A musical masterpiece all the way through. I don't know about you Stags fans, when Stags lows, it really hurts. But when it cheers me up no end, when Nick's on with his Mansfield Town shirts. Merry Christmas one and all from the Mansfield Matters crew, and tidings of joy and laughter are sent from us to you. We all have one thing in common when the season's been and gone, to celebrate a Stags promotion and to end up in League One. We all believe that Nigel is the man to take us there. We love reading all your comments. There's plenty for all to share. Players out of position is a favourite, we must say. But does it really matter if Stags win Saturday? Injured players are coming back now, and we might get a settled side. So strap yourself in nice and tight and make sure you enjoy the ride. So thank you all for listening to the podcast week in, week out. With Craig at the helm at Matters HQ, it's something to shout about. Merry Christmas once again, listeners, from Craig, Nathan, Clive, Alan and Cam. And who's looking forward to Santa coming? I know I certainly am. And remember, if we get promotion, we'll all feel like we're in heaven. And that SSA number again, 07967 597.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Wilson, everybody. Brilliant stuff, mate. Kicking off the podcast. Absolutely love it. And as you can see on screen, we've got an absolutely array of people as we add one more to the list. Oh, Alan, that was absolutely genius. We'll introduce everyone as we go round and say hello in just a second. But Alan, thanks so much for kicking us off.
No problem.
How long did that take you to come up with?
About 20 minutes.
That's not bad. Well, hopefully we'll get another rendition of that at the end. But for now, I'm going to let you nip off, get rid of the beard. And because I imagine you are absolutely sweating at the moment.
I am. It is rather warm.
Brilliant. Well, we'll let you go and get changed whilst we say hello to some of the others. Kicking off, as always, with the usual suspects. I've got to find him on my little list now. I've got so many people on tonight. I can't find you. Of Clive Parkin, good evening.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
What did you make of Alan's little ditty? I mean, the poem, not the other thing.
He's embarrassingly good, isn't he?
is absolutely insane. Talking of a man who's good as well, he's got an expert shirt collection. He's back again. It is, of course, Nick of Mansfield Town Shirts fame. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Very, very good. Got some festive favourites on show for us again.
I've gone for my top 5 this year. I think that's what I settled for.
Excellent. Well, we'll dive into that a little bit later on. Let's introduce some of the guests tonight by saying hello and good evening first and foremost to a man all the way in America. His name is Mitchell McNear. Evening, Mitchell.
What's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Very, very briefly, talk us through why we've got you on the podcast tonight.
Well, I started playing Football Manager, and I wanted to find a team that I could get promoted to Premier League. And I was trying to find a team, I didn't want to go too high in the league. So I was like, I'm going to go League 2. And then, I was just kind of searching down the list, and I picked Mansfield. And, over the past 2 years, now I've kind of started following them in real life, and it's been fun. Ready to see them get promoted this year. That's what's going to happen. League 1 all the way.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you on. We'll hear more about your Football Manager journey later on in the show. You'll be getting involved with some other things as well. Let's welcome Alan back. We'll have a chat with him in just a second. And also, finally, last but by no means least, let's say hello, good evening to Ben, a.k.a. the man who's taken all the stress away from me this year and been doing podcast predictions for us. How are you, mate? First time that we've ever actually properly met. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very, very good. First and foremost, thank you so much for doing podcast predictions for us this year. When we put the call out in the summer, why was it that you wanted to take it on?
Because I'm an Excel nerd, so I like doing spreadsheets and stuff. So I thought, take it away from you, so you didn't cheat anymore. And
I never cheated. I never cheated.
Put it out there.
That is absolutely slanderous, but we'll let you off. We'll come back to you in just a second because you've got an update for us on podcast predictions to find out who's going to be top of the podcast predictions league at Christmas. And we've got lots of fun-filled games for you tonight. So those of you who've tuned in or have listened expecting full-on football talk, we've got really nothing to talk about, have we? Because we didn't take on Grimsby on Saturday. It got frozen off. We had a friendly against Lincoln in the week where everybody got 45 minutes. We don't know the result, so it's a little bit pointless. So we're going to have a little bit of festive fun. I've got the elf T-shirt on. Santa's disembarked, and there we go. So let's go to Nick first and foremost tonight. Who has got his top 5 Stags shirts on display for us. So, Nick, I'm going to put you on full screen, and it's over to you to talk us through.
I think some of them have made an appearance before. I've gone for my favourite 5 of the year, the 5 that I've got this year. I've got John Delayes from when he was captain in the National League Conference. I just like, because he was a great guy when I met him. He was a great player and captain shirt as well, so I like that one. This one's probably up there with my favourites of all time, although it's from a terrible game, from the Cardiff playoff final Pilkington shirt. That's the only one in existence, so I still like that one. I'll probably waffle on too much about that one. This man's shirt, again, as every Stag shirt seems to be, he's got some level of pain attached to it. This one being the relegation season from League One. And then talking of more pain, Steve Wilkinson's shirt from the Chesterfield playoff semi-final, which again we lost, which is fantastic. And then a slightly bit of more positivity is Wayne Fairclough's from Mansfield in 91, 92. So there's a little bit of negativity, but it gets better as you get towards that end.
Now, each one has got a story attached to how you acquired the shirts. What I want you to do for me is, I want you to, out of the 5 that you've got, pick out the story, which, like the journey which you went on to find that shirt, just to give us a bit of an insight into how it is you go about acquiring the shirts, which are now hanging proudly on your rail. Was it a service station? Was it a drive to a player's house, or was it an eBay collection for those?
I think all 5 are different. The Delay one I spent watching the Man City game when they won the league in his house, and obviously he's a Man City fan and ex-Man City player. I ended up watching the game in his house. That one is the service. That's a pub on the A46 between Lincoln and Newark. That one. That one is a Builders Merchants, not too far from Grimsby. That one is a service station near East Mids Airport. And that one I got off a fan, so I just got that from Mansfield. So they're literally all different. That's from the player himself. That's from the player himself. Well, no, they're all apart from that one. That was from a fan who ran on after the game in '92 and nicked it off him. So they're all from the players. It's just I meet them in strange places, generally at night.
It's a strange life that you live, Ben.
It is.
I'm going to come to you. Nick has got his shirt obsession. You said you've got an XL obsession. What other Mansfield Town related obsessions or things have you got which you have within your life? Have you got any players' shirts? So you might want to do a little business with Nick. He's got an open checkbook from what I've heard.
No, I've not got a warm player shirt. I've got if you see, I've got a signed shirt down there from all the players. I won that on the EFL reward thing. My daughter's also got one upstairs that John Radford's sister got for us. So,
Brilliant! What squad is it? Is it last season's squad?
It's last season, the last season, yeah.
Yeah, so still a very good squad with some good memories in it as well. But who knows, Nick? Has that piqued your interest a little bit? You're going to be trying to do some deals afterwards.
I just can't believe that somebody actually won on that app. I must have tried that app. I must have tried that app. Probably. I mean, I sit next to my mate and my dad. My dad does it every game, or did it. Obviously, it doesn't work this year. My mate did it, and we did it. I think I won a set of tickets, and I got COVID, so I ended up not going. And that was it. For about the 4 years it was on, I won absolutely nothing. I didn't even know anybody who won anything, so I'm glad to meet Ben, really, because he's the only man I ever know who ever won anything on it.
I won two sets, but that was literally the last game of the season. I won that, and they don't do it this season. They still do it. No. So it was the last game I won that.
There was a ball. There was also I never won anything. There was a copy of Football Manager. Nothing. I won nothing, and I must have done it 3 or 4 times every Saturday. Nothing.
Living proof that app didn't work. After I didn't win anything after I think the first month, I stopped bothering with it. Mitchell, I'm going to come back to you. Delve us into then to a little bit more of your story since you said that you played with the club on Football Manager. You've gone up through the leagues and things like that, and then started following it in real life. At what point did you know that you wanted to start following Mansfield a little bit more closely in the reality version rather than the simulation?
I'd probably say this year a little bit more. I want to try to find another new team really to follow. I kind of was like a player hopper kind of follower of teams, kind of more Americans, like, hey, I was going to follow Pulisic at Chelsea, but then like he never plays at Chelsea. Back in the day when I was young, I wanted to follow like the best teams. I watched, Manchester United back in the glory days with Rooney and Pulisic. I'm not Pulisic, Van Persie. But then I was like, I don't care for these guys. Like, I don't want to follow this. So, now like found a cool team. I really enjoy the guys, that I guess I coached. So like it's really fun. Like, cause like looking at their pictures, like online, it's like Football Manager, even though you download the face packs, like you don't have all of them. So it's kind of fun just like getting on and be like, oh, look, this is that guy and this is that guy. So really that's about, I guess would be my extent. Just wanting to find a fun team to follow. Hopefully, like I said, we do get promoted. That'd be awesome.
What's next for you? Are you going to try and watch a few games on iFollow, or are you going to try and go one step further and get a couple of plane tickets, jump on over here to the UK and watch in for real?
Dude, so one day that would be fun. Probably no time soon there because I have a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old now. So a little preoccupied right now.
There's no more perfect destination for kids than Mansfield.
Exactly that.
Bring him over.
I don't know about the hop across. I don't know. It'd be an interesting flight. But definitely I follow. Hopefully the 26th I can hop on and catch that whole game. Hopefully we'll get a win. It'd be a nice win.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do is we'll get you back on at some point on the podcast and get your views on Mansfield Town in real life and things like that, and sort of see how you're going with it as well. We'll keep you around for another 5 minutes or so, but I know we only had sort of a limited amount of time with yourself with the time difference and other commitments out there as well. So we won't keep you too long. If people want to find you on Twitter and sort of follow your journey and things like that, and find out a little bit more about Mansfield in the simulation world, where can people go to follow you?
Well, I'm a Braves fan, so right now it's Chop on Bobbles because I was a bobblehead collector during COVID, but now I've kind of like sold everything, so I really need to like fix my stuff, to be honest with you. Just haven't changed my name yet to something new, but right now it is Chop on Bobbles. It's like CHOPON Bobbles. BOBBLES. Yep.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll keep an eye out for some of your stuff. Before we let you go, we're going to play a game of Football Room 101 in a second. I think most of the guys here will be sort of familiar with the concept. It's based on a TV show that we have over in the UK. I know you'd not particularly heard of it when I sort of mentioned it to you. Have you done a bit of a dive into it, or thought of basically the concept is it's one, you'd put a particular item in that you'd want to get rid of and never see again within the sport. So maybe we'll do it Football Manager themed. What one thing within the Football Manager setup and game would you like to throw into a metaphorical Room 101?
That's a really hard question. You know, I've been like preparing myself for the Mansfield one now. Like I've been getting here.
Well, if you've got a Mansfield one, go for it. Go if you've done that, go for it.
I would say starting a consistent midfield. You know, no, not starting a consistent midfield. Sorry, you know, like let's just get our guys and start them. You know, instead of how we're just kind of switching in and out of players a lot.
Absolutely. Mitchell, thanks so much for your time tonight. We'll make sure that people go across to Twitter and give you a bit of a follow. I know you've been interacting a lot with Nick as well. Hopefully your brief appearance tonight sort of sparks a few more connections for you, and you can sort of evolve more into the Mansfield family, and no doubt we'll have you on the podcast again in the future. What's your plans for the big day, Christmas? What have you got, a big family Christmas coming up, or do you have a quiet one?
Yeah, very, very busy around here. My whole family's pretty close, so I'll be traveling Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and it's gonna be a nice adventure.
Well, we wish you all the best, and we hope that you have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll catch up with you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, say bye to Mitchell. Thanks for coming on tonight, mate.
Bye, Mitchell.
Bye, Mitchell.
There we go, Mitchell McNear there, a Mansfield fan who started his journey on Football Manager, managing the club, and then came into it for real. So he's going to try and watch a few more games. Now, Ben, one thing we do quite often on the podcast when we have first-timers on is we find out a little bit more about them, about their journey, how they started out as well. I know you've got a daughter and that you've sort of got her in the sort of Mansfield bug as well. Obviously, your man cave that you've got there says that you collect a lot of memorabilia as well. Tell us a little bit more about your Mansfield Town journey then. When did you first start following the club and things like that?
My first ever football game I ever went to was in 1987.
Oh God!
I know you like the song, Craig, so I thought I'd give you a bit. You know, yeah, that was the first football match I ever went to was the Wembley to watch Mansfield.
Wow!
And then from there, junior 15 to 18, I was season ticket holder in North Stand. 27 quid a season ticket. I mean, you can't not be a season ticket holder. But then when you become an adult, a bit more expensive, and found things like beer and stuff. I just followed Mansfield. I went to big matches and things like that, but I'm not a season ticket holder. 2 daughters, none of them interested in football at all. And then around about 2018, a 17-year-old just started getting into football. I'm like, okay, I'm going to push this. World Cup 2018, she's absolutely obsessed. Then we started going to Mansfield 18-19 season. Well, we had Tyler Walker and finished at Milton Keynes, and the bug was there, and season tickets since then. So we're in the Q block, but right at the front of the Q block. So we get all the atmosphere, but we've got no one standing in front of us, so it's perfect seats for me and my daughter. So yeah,
what you have got there though, Ben, is a little bit of danger, because I always see one day that there's going to be like a 90th minute winner. Everyone's just going to start piling down, and it's, don't know, drinks going over the edge and everything. I don't know, but it's not a bad view there, though, is it?
Drinks go now, to be fair, but we do get wet now and again. But it's worth it for that. I just love the atmosphere being there, to be fair. So take the danger with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Favourite current player?
Yeah, I love Stephen Quinn. I mean, I know he's probably, it's his last season, whatever, but I just love his passion. He cuddles everyone after a match. His passion there. I just think, he's potentially a manager, assistant manager. I think he should stay at the club because I absolutely love the guy. But I love Macca on the left. I don't think anyone would take Mal's place because I'm in love with Mal. And but Macca's been brilliant as well. Lapsley, Matt. We've got some good players there. It's just play them where they need to play and just let them express themselves. And please please just play Jason Law because he'll be gone. If we don't play him, he'll be gone. I love Jason Law as well. He's not given the chance.
I genuinely don't get why everybody sees it bar the actual management staff. He must be absolutely woeful in training. That's all I can say. Because for whatever reason, he just does not get a chance. Finally, before we delve into some fun in games, all-time favourite Mansfield player. If you were to be able to sit down and have a coffee or a beer with that person, discuss their time at the club, mine is obviously Neil McKenzie. Who is yours?
It wasn't there long, but going back to when I was watching it as a junior, I was in love. I keep saying I'm in love with people. There's something wrong with that. Ian Hathaway. He was only there for 2 or 3 years, but I thought Ian Hathaway was absolutely fantastic.
Clive and Alan, I'm going to have to come to you for those. Alan?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few, but I think the main one, and I don't want to diss anybody else, but it had to be Greenie.
Yeah.
Without Clive,
can you remember Hathaway? Was it Hathaway, Ben?
Ian Hathaway, yeah.
Remember Ian Hathaway?
Barely. When I'm at a stage in my life where I can remember things 30 years ago, but anything in between then and now, it tends to get a bit hazy. So I'm going to go for somebody from one of the old school sides, and it's going to be Dudley Roberts.
Yeah.
Cracking centre forward, the best header of the ball in the lower leagues.
Well, there we go. Right, then it's time.
Still a Mansfield resident to this day.
Oh, there you go. Right, then it's time for a little bit of Mansfield Matters themed fun. Why does everybody look at me gone out when I say that? Me, Clive and Alan, a couple of weeks ago, did record a Christmas special, which we were going to put out on Christmas Day. And then what happened was the Grimsby game got postponed and we needed some content for tonight. So that hour we spent laughing together is never going to be heard by anyone because we're going to do a live version of it now. Because we've got more people as well, we've got a panel of 5 on now. So we've got to get a bit more interaction and they can put something in there as well. We are going to do a football Mansfield Town themed Room 101. So we're going to go round twice. You get to put one item in Room 101. I'm sure everybody knows the concept. It's something which you would banish from either watching Mansfield or about Mansfield. It just basically has to be Stags related. Everybody gets one suggestion, and at the end we'll all have a vote. We can't vote for each other for our own, but we can vote for each other's. And the one with the most votes will get put into Room 101. We'll do a Stags version, and we will do a generic football themed version as well. Now, because of time constraints, I am going to put a clock on for 2 minutes per pitch for people to talk about what they want. So all you've got is 2 minutes to sell your thing that you're going to put into Room 101. Clive and Alan, because you have done this, I thought it'd be easier for you two to go first, so you give Ben and Nick a bit of an idea of the sort of things that we put in Room 101. It gives them a little bit of thinking time as well, and because you've spoke about yours previously, you'll be able to get it into that 2 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. Alan, I'm going to come to you first then. Are you
doing the Mansfield one or the normal one?
We're going to go for the Mansfield one first. So you've got to remember everybody else's.
Okay.
Your time will start when you go into the full screen. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have 2 minutes, and it will end. Well, you'll hear it end because my phone will beep. But there you go. So, Alan Wilson, this is your chance to put something Mansfield Town themed into Room 101, and your time starts in 3, 2, 1.
Well, mine would be the Mansfield Town when they get the officials. We've had really poor officials this year, whether it be linesmen not being able to keep up with the play, whether it be referees not strong enough in whatever they have to do on the pitch. I know it's a hard job, but it's just, it's basically week in, week out. We seem to be saying, oh, well, we can't have another bad ref, not like we did last home match. But it just seems to get worse and worse. And every time you see the names that we've had before on the team sheet, right at the bottom, it was going to be officiating, you think, oh, no, not again, because they just don't seem to be strong enough. And then sometimes if they are strong enough and they want to stamp their authority, it gets like a debacle on the pitch. I just think that there's a better way of doing things, like whether you can talk to players, like man to man, and your man management would be a little bit better. but it's just we seem to get week in, week out on the message boards everywhere. We get moaning about officials. Like I said before, we know it's a hard job, but I just think we could get better. And that's my pitch.
There we go. So Alan Wilson did that with 42 seconds to spare. So he is putting match officials into room 101. Clive, you are up next. Remember, it's Stags themed. You have 2 minutes and your time starts in 3, 2, 1. Off you go.
The poem with accompanying video. Great when it first came out. Now thoroughly boring. Stop showing it.
Is that it? Is that you've got 1 minute 46 seconds to rant about it? Go, rant, go. Use the time.
No, I'm giving you the gift of time back.
Fair enough. There we go. I was expecting him to go on longer. To be fair, right. As it's you two are guests and you're sort of going off a little bit of the fly, and because Clive has given us the gift of time, I'm going to add an extra 30 seconds on for you two. Nick, have you got one? Have you got one in your head?
I was going to say Clive's clock because it's the wrong time, but that's thrown me off.
Listen, that clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, unfortunately not now. That's why you thought you were done.
Ben, have you got one? Have you got one ready? Can you hear me? You there? Ben, are you there?
Oh, yes, me. Sorry, I thought. Sorry,
yeah. Have you got one in your head?
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to thank Clive because there's no way we're going to fill 2 minutes, but I don't feel guilty now because he only did 5 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
So,
well, there you go. Then.
This is very personal. This is very personal with the Stags and people not agree with. But I just want the North Gate being shut to be thrown into 101. I can understand the reasoning regarding the police and whatever and the crowds. But God, it's such a ball ache walking all the way around. And all you do anyway is end up passing the opposition on the road anyway. So the people that want to cause trouble are still going to cause trouble. And it winds me up every single game without fail. Northgate in room 101, never to be shut again.
There we go. I like it. Nick, it's over to you. Well, you've got as much time as you want now, to be honest. I'm throwing the clock out the window.
According to Clive's clock, I've got about 25 minutes. So
there you go. The floor is yours.
I'm going to go with, and it's multifaceted there, so you're going to have to bear with me, but it's the Quarry Lane end, but more specifically the fact that it doesn't have sides on it and that I get wind chill factor 50 on my face every time I sit in that stand. And it's the coldest stand. It can be a red hot day and you get in that stand and it's freezing. Plastic sides on it would solve the problem. And I don't know why we haven't done it. And I'm going to throw into that part of the Quarry Lane issue is that because there's the whole of the stand going in, unfortunately, I'm sorry. The restaurant bit at the back, the food courts have never got enough staff on. And I'm also bringing into this the club shop. And I've been to quite a few away games recently at our level where the club shop has been some sort of actual shop where you can go in and have a look around at shirts and stuff and various other things. And our shop is a little bit of a half porter cabin, half
toilet
sort of shack. So yeah, I'm going to throw the multifaceted Quarry Lane end, I think, in room 101.
Oh, there we go. Expertly done. So far we have got match officials, the poem, the North Stand gate closure, Quarry Lane having no sides, and the lack of club shop facilities. Although, Clive, I think you can probably counter the club shop thing. Have you ever been to Crawley, Nick?
No, I'm unfortunately judging it on slightly, probably better places than I've not been to Crawley. No.
Can I just say the club shop at Crawley is the equivalent size of my built-in wardrobe in the spare bedroom. You can get one person in it and the door has to slide. It can't open on a hinge. And then Barrow have a club shop which you have to go through the main entrance to get into. And when you get in there, they don't have anything.
There you go. Right. Well, it's my turn now. What am I going to throw into room 101? I've got two. But I think I was going to go with the 1987 song because it's lyrically inaccurate and just does my bloody head in. But I'm going to go with a real bugbear of mine. And to be fair, it hasn't happened much this season. It is people watching the game through their phone. It absolutely drives me crazy. Younger kids who are obsessed with becoming YouTubers and putting out expert match highlights when they shot from the back of the Ian Greaves stand on a shaky iPhone that they can't hold still because it's cold and they're shivering. Don't watch the game through your phone. Watch it through your eyes. Put your phone in your pocket. I get that you want to take pictures and, record your memories of the game and things like that, but just watch it through your eyes. You don't need to put out a highlights package. There are club cameras that do that. It's specifically someone's job to make those highlights packages, and it just does my head in. A little bit with vlogging as well, but not on a grand scale. I just don't enjoy that content of having watching a vlog where it's literally somebody filming themselves in the ground, because there's nothing more awkward if you're sat behind someone and they're holding, the camera in front of them, and you're sort of catching your glare of yourself in the camera and your reactions being recorded. Yes, if you want to put a vlog together, great. Interview fans and stuff before the game and sampling the atmosphere, but don't do it where it's literally just, I'm at the One Call Stadium now. We're travelling down to Sutton. Oh, I've arrived at Sutton now. Let's go into the ground. Just make it a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fan-led and experience-led, rather than it just being overlay shots with some dodgy music in the background and then some really, really bad shots from behind the goal of football taking place. We're all there. If people aren't there watching it, they're watching it about you and your personality, your vlog, not about watching highlights. There are other places to do it. That's probably over 2 minutes, but everybody else went short, so I felt like I needed to have a rant. So there you go. Right, it's voting time. So I'm going to go with the phones thing. So a reminder, I went for watching your game through a phone. Nick went for the Quarry Lane and having no sides and the lack of club shop facilities. Ben went for the North Stand gate. Clive went for the poem. Alan went for match officials. Now, you can't vote for your own, but you can vote for somebody else's. So based on the pitch, based on the idea of what they're throwing into 101, aka eradicating a problem and it being solved, who are you going to vote for? Alan, you went first, so you get to cast the first vote. Who are you voting for?
Well, basically, on thinking about the fan experience, which I am one of. I mean, I'm lucky where I sit and whatever else. It's very rare I get cold. But I will put Nick's in because I can understand why he thinks like that, because the West Stand is probably the same. It can be 90 degrees, but it does get cold when you're in there. But I can appreciate that. So I'll go with Nick's.
Clive, you're up next. You've got plenty to vote for. One vote for Nick so far. Who are you going to put your votes in for?
Well, I'm going to dismiss Nick's because he's just demonstrated what a wimp he is, and Alan's also a wimp for agreeing with him. I'm going to go with Ben because it touches on something else. My second choice would have been, had I thought about it and had time to say it actually, is the way that we as fans, and I can only judge Mansfield better than any other club because I visit Mansfield, 30 times a year. We're treated like suspected terrorists. I just object. I'm a 70-year-old gentleman who represents very little threat to society. And I object to being patted down and sniffed by a scabby dog to get in the ground.
Clive, don't give me that. I've seen you at away games. I know you love it. You thrive off it. You even unzip your trousers and say, "Have a proper feel, son."
If you're going to do it well. But I agree with the gate. I think it's an oversimplistic way of trying to deal with something that's been dealt with better in the first place.
Oh, there we go. Right. Who went Ben, you're next. You get to vote for someone now. So you've got match officials, poems, North Stand gates, or watching football through phones.
Match officials for me. I mean, it's League Two. You're not going to get the best officials, but it just seems this year it really has been bad. And I don't think it's us being like, oh, it's all about or they all against us. I just think they've been really bad this year. So I'll go with Alan.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you,
Nick, you're so far we've got 3 people tied on 1 vote apiece. Are you going to put somebody in the lead, or are you going to throw somebody else into the mix and really mess up this feature?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
great.
I'm not going to do that. I slipped Alan a £5 earlier to come up with say my idea, so I'm going to have to repay that £5.
Collusion.
It is collusion. There is some. I used to referee myself to a reasonable standard. I did actually run the line to Stags in a free friendlies back in the day before I ended up quitting because of work, and it boggles my mind that. I know it's difficult. It is a really difficult job. And what you see as a fan isn't what the referee sees, because they see it a lot quicker and a lot closer. And actually, the closer you are, the worse it is. But some of the mind-boggling, obvious, decisions that we've had where even player reaction would tell you what the answer is. You don't even need to have seen it. If the goalkeeper goes and picks the ball up and nobody moans, it's probably a goal kick, etc., etc. And we've just had some real, just poor. I mean, some of them I don't know how they passed the fitness test. So I'm completely on board with on the list. You see him warming up and you go, he is not keeping up with play. No matter, you see how fit the players are. Yeah. It's just like you're 20 yards behind. There's no wonder you got it wrong. And I just think they're so important these days that there's no excuse because I know a few Football League referees and linesmen, there's no excuse why they shouldn't be one, fit, and two, at least semi-competent. But yeah, I agree with Alan. And there's me £5 back.
Dear.
Thank you, Nick.
Well, expertly done. Well colluded, and I'm not quite sure that was in the rules. My vote wouldn't have gone. It wouldn't have gone for Alan. I'm going to sort of go through them all and give my reasons in. So, match officials. We've been through this many a time, and I think it was one of those where, standard is standard. Yes, we get dealt a bad hand, but we've got to deal with it as has everybody else in the league. The North Stand gate closure doesn't really affect me because I park in the other way, but I can understand why it's frustrating. I did used to park in the railway station car park, so it did used to affect me. Then I just moved and dealt with it. I understand why it's done, but it is a little bit silly when it is announced like days prior and then like towards the end of the game. It just gets an audible groan, but I think it's copable. Again, similar reasonings that I've got to dismiss Nick's is because I don't sit in the Quarry Lane end. And to be honest, if you think you're cold in the Quarry Lane, try sitting in the West Stand upper. Even colder.
You've got sides on it. You've got sides on.
No, doesn't matter. Even colder. Agree on the club shop point, though. If you'd have gone with just the club shop and the facilities in general, you'd have had my vote. Obviously, can't vote for myself. Which is frustrating. And frustrating that nobody voted for that either, by the way. But I'm going to go with Clive's with the poem because
that's collusion.
Collusion.
That's collusion for a start.
If I was going to agree with anybody, I'd be agreeing with Alan, really, wouldn't I? But Santa and his elf, come on. But no, Clive has hit the nail on the head with the fact that it's expertly written, and at the time it was written, it did a really good job for us. But it's supposed to be the way it's shot and filmed and utilised on a match day is supposed to be sort of used to be rousing, used to sort of get the crowd up and get the crowd going and sort of fired up to create an atmosphere. I don't think it does that. I don't think it serves the purpose that it was initially intended to do. And to be honest, every time it comes on a match day, as well written as it is, and the guy that wrote it must be absolutely highly delighted to see it every single week. I end up going on my phone or listening to something in my earpods because I just find it's got to the cringe level now. It should be put in a box and brought out on a big game, a big occasion, something where we do need rousing and using it more sporadically than an every week thing. Love the poem when it was first written, but it's in the context that it's used now, I don't think it serves its purpose. So that was where my vote goes for the poem. Right, that's it for Room 101. We might try and get round to do the football one in general later on, but I want to dive into some other features and games that we've got. So you're going to need your pens and your paper. Of course, you'll have all been following Santas Stagmas Calendar all throughout December. Today's was an audio clip. I'm going to play the audio from that now. Your task as the four panelists is to write down as many as the 11 names as you can, and then we'll see. I'll award points to the person who gets the most correct answers. So the person who gets the most correct answers will get 5, the next person will get 4, then 3, then 2. Don't do 1 point because that's lonely this Christmas. Right, here is then Santa's Stagmas Calendar Day 22. Here is the audio clip. See how many of these you can identify.
surpass your own expectation.
Real leg burner, real good for the lungs.
We thought we'd done it again today.
Look at the ball, try not to listen to the keeper.
We've got 1 foot over the line here. This might actually happen.
The players to a man, Jason Danskin, young lad we'd had from Everton. Mark Kearney, energy in midfield, he got stuck in.
How that team didn't actually get promoted is really a travesty, because the team spirit and commitment that team had was the best I've been involved in.
Like I said, these can be really tricky games.
And I just prayed and prayed and prayed once this meeting had finished that nobody tried the toilet.
Tough, uncompromising defenders, and it's, to be honest with you accept it. I probably wouldn't have if I'd been stretched off with broken ribs.
Because the cream. So there you go. That was today's Santas.
I've done shambolic there.
I've done really poorly. I think I might have one.
I'm going to give you. I'm going to play it one more time for you, so you get to have a little listen to it. Little listen to it again. I'll give you a few clues. A few of these people have featured on the Mansfield Matters podcast, or as part of Mansfield Matters, or what I've done in the past 12 months or so. A few others may have cropped up in conversation as well, but I'm going to play it one more time for you and then reveal those all important answers. So take a very close listen.
Surpass your own expectation.
Real leg burner, real good for the lungs.
We thought we'd done it again today.
Look at the ball, try not to listen to the keeper.
We've got 1 foot over the line here. This might actually happen.
The players to a man, Jason Danskin, young lad we'd had from Everton. Mark Kearney, energy in midfield, he got stuck in.
How that team didn't actually get promoted is really a travesty, because the team spirit and commitment that team had was the best I've been involved in.
Like I said, these can be really tricky games.
And I just prayed and prayed and prayed once this meeting had finished that nobody tried the toilet.
Tough, uncompromising defenders, and it's, to be honest with you accept it. I probably wouldn't have if I'd been stretched off with broken ribs.
Because the cream. So there you go. That's it. That's all I'm going to give you. Clive, give me a number between 1 and 11 for how many you think you got.
2.
Ben.
0, maybe 1.
Nick.
I'm going to chance my arm at 3, but I don't think one of them's right.
Okay. Alan?
I'm hoping here. I've got fingers crossed. I'm going 6.
Ooh. Right. Well, you
I think I'm way out. I'm just guessing.
Well, you're going big. If you can name me 6 players from that list, then you will get all 5 points. Alan, name away.
Neil McKenzie, George Maris, Rhys Day, Neil Bishop, Neil Richardson, and Stuart Watkins.
Alan, I can tell you that you got 1 out of those 6 correct.
Well, I said I'd get 1. I think
Nick,
I know who that was.
Nick, if you can name, I'm not going to tell you who it was,
No.
because it's now chance for Nick. You went for 4, didn't you? I think. So if you can name me
3.
4.
Well, yeah, 3 or 4. I mean, the first one was David Flitcroft. I know that for a fact.
Well, hang on. Are you going for 3 or 4?
Play safe, Nick. Play safe.
Right, 3. Right, name. If you can name me 3, you get 5 points.
David Flitcroft, Danny Rose, and maybe Andy White.
I can tell you, Nick, that you also got 1.
Well done, Nick. Well done.
Clive, I think you were next. I think you said 2. I think was it?
I'm going to go for 3.
Okay,
Although I have to say, my third one is somewhat dubious.
You can
that will become clear.
If you can name 3, then you will get all 5 points.
Come on, Clive.
Right. Well, my safe bets: Flitcroft, Coughlin, and my chancy one, Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
Geordie at the end.
Remember when he played for Stags? Yeah.
I can tell you, Clive, that you also got 1. So Ben, if you can name 2, then you get all 5 points, and everybody else just gets 1 point. So all you got to do is name 2.
I had 1 name on my piece of paper, and that was Coughlin. But Nick was so confident about Rose, I'll go for Coughlin and Rose.
I can tell you, Nick, Ben, that you got none.
It was Flitcroft I was confident with. No, it was Flitcroft I was confident with.
So nobody gets the points. No points for any of you. Right, I'll put you all out of your misery. The first one was David Flitcroft. The second one was Ryan Tafazoli. The third was Bobby Olejnik. The fourth was Tyler Walker. Then it was Chris Greenacre, followed by Kevin Kent and Rhys Day. Number 8 in that list, Clive, was your favourite player, Mr. Farron Rawson. The next one after that, the Geordie, was Adam Rundle, talking about having a poo in Carlton Palmer's toilet. After that, the penultimate one was Mickey Boulding, and I'm gutted that none of you got the last one. The last Geordie who said custard cream. It was, of course, Matty Longstaff from earlier on this season when I asked him what his favourite biscuit was. So no points for anyone there at all. Unlucky.
I know it was Rhys Day. I remembered his voice.
So why didn't you guess him?
I did.
Oh, did you? All right. Okay, yeah.
That was his one, I think.
Day.
Oh, that was your one, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was my one.
Okay, right. Well, there you go.
That went well.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah. We'll see how
We
the
truly
next
are a
one goes.
panel of experts, aren't we?
Yeah. Don't worry, because there's 2 more of them coming later on in the show. First and foremost, though, we're going to delve into the big Christmas quiz. I've got 20 questions for you, 4 different rounds, 5 questions in each round, lots of points to be won. There's a Stags-themed round, there's a TV and film round, a Christmas number ones round, and a general Christmas knowledge round as well. So you're going to need your piece of paper. I'm going to put a little bit of music on in the background as well, just for the awkward silences. No shouting out, no cheating. I'll run through the answers at the end. And here we go. Play along at home if you want to do so. As I say, I'll reveal the answers at the end as well for you, so you can figure out what they are. Round 1 is the Stags rounds, which means that all of these questions are based on Mansfield Town FC. Question 1, working backwards. In this sequence of Stags managers, who comes next? This excludes caretaker managers. In this sequence of Stags managers, who comes next? Paul Holland, Bill Dearden, Peter Shirtliff and Carlton Palmer. Who comes next working backwards? Question 2 a little bit more recently for you. Earlier this season, the Stags won their first penalty shootout in a decade. Can you name the players who successfully converted from the spot? I'll give you 1 point per correct answer. Earlier this season, the Stags won their first penalty shootout in a decade. Can you name the players who successfully converted from the spot for 1 point each? Question 3. Who was the last side the Stags played away on Boxing Day? Who was the last side the Stags played away to on Boxing Day? Question number 4. Everybody's favourite. It's an anagram for you, so you might want to get your pens ready to write it down.
This is question number 5.
This is question number 4.
Yeah, is on that. Can you go to 5? She doesn't like anagrams.
Oh, all right. No, yeah, no, you can't. Question 4: which former manager is Geese Frog Rot? Geese Frog Rot. That's Geese Frog Frog Rot Rot. Which former manager is Geese Frog Rot? And question 5, bit of a maths one for you. What is the combined age of Nigel Clough, Andy Garner, and Gary Crosby? What is the combined age of Nigel Clough, Andy Garner, and Gary Crosby? I'll quickly run through all 5 of those questions again whilst you scribble your answers down. Question 1 was working backwards in this sequence of Stags managers. Who comes next, excluding caretakers? Paul Holland, Bill Dearden, Peter Shirtliff, Carlton Palmer. Who comes next? Question 2 was earlier this season, the Stags won their first penalty shootout in a decade. Name the players who successfully converted from the spot for 1 point each. Question 3, who was the last side the Stags played away on Boxing Day? Question 4, which former manager is Geese Frog Rot? And question 5, what is the combined age of Nigel Clough, Andy Garner and Gary Crosby? Okay, round 2 is film and TV. So all of these questions are based on films and TV programmes. Question 1 is as follows. Round 2, question 1. In Home Alone 1 and 2, what are the first names of the Wet Bandits? In Home Alone 1 and 2, what are the first names of the Wet Bandits? Question 2, which school-based drama is returning to our screens in 2023 with Angela Griffin returning in the role of Kim Campbell? Which school-based drama is returning to our screens in 2023 with Angela Griffin returning as Kim Campbell? Question number 3, in which year did Die Hard first get shown in the cinemas? Not a Christmas film, but everybody seems to think it is. In which year did Die Hard first get shown in cinemas? For question 3. Question number 4 in the film and TV round. Do you have the speed, the strength, the heart to be a winner? Is a lyric from the theme tune to which 1990s sporting/challenge game show? Awooga! Do you have the speed, the strength, the heart to be a winner is a lyric from the theme tune to which 90s sporting challenge game show? And question number 5 in the TV and film round. What is the name of the final episode of Only Fools and Horses broadcast Christmas 2003? Do you want me to recap the questions or you're all good to move on to the next round?
It's all right.
Everyone
I'm
else
not
good?
getting even right, so you may as well move on. I haven't got it even right.
Okay. Round number 3 is about Christmas number ones. I'm going to give you a list of 5 UK Christmas number ones. All you have to do is tell me the artist for 1 point and the year for another point. If you get all 5 correct, that's artist and year, you can double your points for the entire round. So 10 points becomes 20 points. Okay, so the first one, again, names of Christmas UK number ones. Number 1, Killing in the Name. Number 2, Stay Another Day. Number 3, Lonely This Christmas. Number 4, Moon River. And number 5, A Moment Like This. So number 1, Killing in the Name. Number 2 is Stay Another Day. 3 is Lonely This Christmas. 4 is Moon River. And 5 is A Moment Like This. Remember, you're looking for the artist for 1 point and the year for the second point. Get all 5 correct, artist and song title, and you will double your points.
What was question 2?
I'll run through them one more time for you. So number 1 was Killing in the Name. Number 2 was Stay Another Day. Number 3, Lonely This Christmas. Number 4, Moon River. And number 5, A Moment Like This. Your fourth and final round is as follows. It's Christmas general knowledge, so these are general knowledge Christmas-based questions. And here is question number 1. How many Scrabble points would you get for the word Christmas, presuming you didn't use any of the additional points squares? So no double points, no double letters and all that stuff. How many Scrabble points would you get for the word Christmas? Question number 2. In what year was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens published? Is it 1841, 1843, or 1845? In what year was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens first published? Question number 3. Who starred in the Christmas film Jingle All the Way? Put the cookie down! Bit of a clue for you. Who starred in the Christmas film Jingle All the Way for question number 3. Question number 4. Which UK monarch delivered the first Christmas broadcast to the BBC in 1932? Which UK monarch delivered the first Christmas broadcast to the BBC in 1932? And the final question. In which author's novel is it always winter but never Christmas? In which author's novel is it always winter but never Christmas? I'll give you 1 point for the author and 1 point for the book title. Okay, so there you go. They are all your questions done and dusted. Time to reveal the all-important answers for you. And let's, at the end of every round, I'll see who has got what score. So mark them as you're going along, and we'll see what we've got. So, round 1, the Stags round. Working backwards in this sequence of Stags managers, who comes next, excluding caretakers? Paul Holland, Billy Dearden, Peter Shirtliff, Carlton Palmer, and the answer was, Alan, any ideas?
Billy McEwen?
No, it was Keith Curl, working backwards.
Wow.
Keith Curl.
How have I got that?
Well done, Ben. Earlier this season, the Stags won their...
Hang on.
Question 2. Earlier this season, the Stags won their first penalty shootout in a decade. Name the players who successfully converted for the spot. So 1 point for each of these players. Nick, any ideas?
I've gone for Hawkins.
That's
Maris.
Maka. I'll tell you if you get another. No.
Akins.
No.
And then I got Lapsley, but I don't think he played.
Lapsley got one. Yeah.
Oh, so I got 2.
Yeah. So the correct answers were... No.
Lapsley and Hawkins were the 2 I got.
Yeah, the correct answers for those who successfully converted: Will Swan, George Lapsley, Elliot Hewitt, James Gale, Ollie Clark and Ollie Hawkins. Jason Law did himself no favours that night by taking he missed with a really, really weak penalty, unfortunately. Question 3 was, who was the last side the Stags played away on Boxing Day? Ben, any guesses?
Yeah, it is a guess, but I got Keith Curl as a guess. I put Walsall. I don't know.
I put Walsall for no reason.
Ooh, Clive, any guesses on that one?
I only guessing. I said Grimsby.
It was Scunthorpe, so not far away.
I guessed it, Grimsby.
Scunthorpe. Alan and Clive, you love an anagram, but could you figure out for question 4, geese, frog, rock? Clive?
George Foster.
It was. Well done if you got George Foster. Finally, the maths question. Ben, you love a spreadsheet, so if you had a spreadsheet, it might have helped. What is the combined age of Nigel Clough, Andy Garner and Gary Crosby? Any ideas?
162.
Ooh, any advances on 162, Nick?
I went for 139, but I think I've underaged them.
You certainly have. Alan?
148.
Clive?
174.
Clive was the closest. It was 170 on the nose.
Wow.
Clough and Garner are both 56. Crosby is 2 years older. He's 58.
Right.
So well done if you got those. Right, let's go through who got...
We'll get a point for that then.
Yes, if you got it right, you certainly do.
I said 174.
Oh, no, you didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it right.
You don't get that.
You don't get anything for being
What do you think? What do you think?
Close, Clive, but no cigar.
You get the admiration of the fellow panellists.
That's right.
Half a point.
Oh.
I'll give you.
That's going to win it now.
Favoritism.
Half a point.
Collusion.
Right, Alan, how many did you get? How many did you get in that round?
I'm afraid a very paltry 4.
Not bad, Clive.
4.5.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh, here we go.
Nick.
4.
Ben.
Just the 2.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Film and TV up next then. Here we go again. I'll race through these. Question 1, Home Alone 1 and 2. What are the first names of the Wet Bandits? It's Harry and Marv.
Never
Question 2, which... Never seen Home Alone?
Oh, don't tell him that.
Never
Don't
seen
tell
it.
Craig that.
No interest either.
Oh yeah, that's.
If
you
we,
shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have said that.
If we weren't in the middle of the quiz, I'd be kicking you out of this chat right now. If it wasn't for podcast predictions, you'd be gone, son. You'd be gone. Question 2. Which school-based drama is returning in 2023 with Angela Griffin returning as Kim Campbell? It's Waterloo Road. Yes. Well done, Alan.
Got that one.
The year in which Die Hard was first shown in cinemas was 1988. Question 3. Do you have the speed, the strength, the heart to be a winner? Is a lyric from the theme tune to which 90s
Jet
sporting
and
challenge game
lightning.
show? Beauties, absolute beauties. It is, of course, Gladiators. Well done if you got that. I've lost me a bit of paper. Which one am I on? I am on... Oh, that one. What is the name of the final episode of Only Fools and Horses, broadcast Christmas 2003? It's Sleepless in Peckham. Well done if you got that. And yeah, that's it. That's all of those answers. So I'll go in reverse order this time. Ben, I'll come to you first.
3 in that round.
Excellent work, Nick.
2.
Clive.
2.
Alan.
2.
So there you go, Ben. You've gone from being the lowest in round 1 to the winner of round 2.
You watch too many films and TV, Ben. That's the problem.
Let's see what happens for
all good in years. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, this one is all about years and artists, of course. So, a reminder that you will get 1 point per correct artist and 1 point per correct year. So there is a maximum of 10 points. If you get all 5 correct, so all 10 points, you can double it to 20. So, the first one, Killing in the Name, was Rage Against the Machine in 2009.
Excuse me. I think it was earlier than that. I thought it was 1992.
It definitely wasn't.
It wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
It definitely wasn't. I
Nice
think it was
one,
probably
Clive.
Mr. Bobby in 92. Who knows? Stay Another Day was East 17 in 1994.
Get in.
I put 95.
Got that.
Lonely This Christmas was Mud in 1974.
Oh dear,
Yes. Get in.
Alan's. Everyone's loving this. Can't see who it is. I can just hear shouting.
Alan's been on Google.
Alan's of an age where he knows mud and because he.
And I know the next one.
Moon River is Clive.
Nat King Cole.
No, it's Danny Williams in 1961.
Oh, I got the year somehow.
Well done.
And,
that was a guess.
and finally, A Moment Like This, Leona Lewis.
Yes.
2006.
Oh,
Leona Lewis in 2006.
No cigar.
Alan was celebrating a lot, so
He was.
have a little tot up. Alan, how many did you get out in that round? Remember, if you got all 10, you double it to 20.
5.
Oh, okay. Clive?
6.
Go,
good work, Nick.
Clive.
That's unbelievable.
Nick?
5.
And Ben?
I'm back 2.
It's back to the 2.
Yeah, let's
all right,
go
then.
back to TV film.
All day long. Well, there's a film question in the last round, so here we go. 4, general knowledge Christmas. Question 1 was how many Scrabble points for the word Christmas, excluding double points and all that sort of nonsense? The answer is 16.
Oh, I put 17. Unbelievable.
In what? Question 2, in what year was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens published? It was 1843.
Yes. Yes. Get in. Were you there, Clive?
I wrote it.
He's got a first
Who's at the
edition
premiere?
copy.
You can come on again, Nick. Ben, next one is a film question. Who starred in the Christmas film Jingle All the Way? Put that cookie down!
Steve Evans.
I thought it was the Cookie Monster by your impression.
Steve
Mr.
Fall out with
Schwarzenegger.
people, Nick. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Well
I
done if you
got
got that. The UK monarch for question 4 in 1932 was George V.
Yay!
And 2 points available here. In which author's novel is it? Always Winter but Never Christmas. The author is C.S. Lewis. The answer is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Well done if you got that right. Have a little tot up of your scores. And
I
we
didn't
will
get that
go
one
in-
right.
Did you not?
No, I got Enid Blyton with frozen nipples.
Oh, give him half a point.
I was going to say, you got to take half a point off for that.
Do you know what? I am actually deducting half a point because Enid Blyton was my favourite childhood author, and you've just ruined the famous 5 for me. So I'm giving you -5 points in the end for that one. Minus 0.5 of a point. Clive, I'll start with you. How many did you get in that round?
3.
Good work. Ben, I'll come to you next.
2.
Consistent, I'll give you that. Nick.
3.
And Alan.
An extremely good guess at that last one, 4.
Oh, excellent work. So 4, 8, 10. Okay, there we go. I've just got to do the maths now.
I think Clive's took it.
Yeah.
Well, not let me win.
You taught it with frozen nipple.
There's some creative accountancy going on here. You watch.
Okay, in 4th place with 9 points. Give it up for Ben, everybody. Round of applause for Ben. Well done, Ben.
Well done, Ben.
In 3rd place with 14 points, it's Nick. Well done, Nick. Round of applause for Nick. Well done.
That's unbelievable, that.
And purely based on the fact that he ruined Enid Blyton for me and I had to take half a point off, it's actually neck and neck between Clive and Alan for 1st place. Both on 15 points. So
Well done,
we are going
Clive.
to have a tiebreaker question.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this is how we're going to decide it. I have got in front of me a list of former players who have played for both Mansfield Town and Northampton Town. You are going to give me a number of how many you think you can name. If you name that number, you will win. If you don't name that number, the other person will win. And to decide who goes up for it, to decide who has the first bid, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to do it the other way around. On your piece of paper, I'd like you to write down a number between 1 and 20 for how many players you think you can name, and then you're going to hold it up to the screen when I put you on full screen. The person with the highest number will be the one who does the guessing. So, Alan, show me your piece of paper. What is your bid?
A minute.
Nice and clear to the camera if you can. Try and make it as bold as you can. Let's have a little look.
You see that?
Higher. Higher.
Good game,
Higher.
good game.
Yeah, you need to move it back a bit. That's your knuckle.
Keep going.
A bit higher. A little bit higher.
I think we missed it. I
What
think
we
it
got
said
there?
3.
Basically, it's 3.
Right, okay. Fair enough. I didn't see it. Well spotted, Nick. That went well. Clive. Hey, there we go. 2. So, Alan, in probably the most easiest of ways to win this game, all you've got to do is match 3 players that I have on my card that have played for both Mansfield Town and Northampton Town. Over to you.
Rosie. Danny Rose. Elsnick. Whatever his first name was. And I'm not sure about this one. Colin Calderwood.
Do you know what? It's on my list, so it counts. Alan gets
Yes,
the extra point. Colin
thought he
Calderwood
was
never played for Northampton, but of course did manage them and is their current assistant manager. So well done. I'll run through all the names that I did have on my list for you. There's probably more.
O'Toole's got to be on there, hasn't he? O'Toole, John Joe.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Here
we go. Daryl Clare, Keith Kerr, John Joe O'Toole, Danny Rose, Ricky Ravenhill, Paul Anderson, Daniel Alfie, Xander Diamond, Lee Collins, God rest him, Giles Coke, Emil Sinclair, Hiram Boateng, Joel Byram, Timmy Elsnick, Adi Boothroyd, Colin Larkin, Alfie Potter, David Artell, Louis Moult, Derek Asamoah, Greg Taylor, Lee Williamson, Junior Mendes, Matty Blair, Alan Sheehan, Colin Calderwood, and a partridge in a pear tree. Well done if you managed to get any of those names right. We have almost run out of time tonight, which means we won't sadly get to go round again on room 101. But there was a reason that we brought Ben on tonight, not just to get involved with the quiz and have a laugh with us. It was to keep us updated on all things podcast predictions. So first and foremost, Ben, I want you to talk us through, if you can, what process you've been using to sort of map people's scores, what sort of things you've been seeing, and how you're just basically reassure the public that I'm not paying you to cheat, basically.
No, basically, obviously, you send the information from the website, and I just put the information into the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet does all the calculations. So there's no manual work being done. It'll just all sort the points out until you throw these extra points in for these little extra quizzes you do. So I have to then manually add them. So thanks for that. Keep that up.
No worries. I'll pre-warn you of the next one. Boxing Day, we're going to have to do double points as it's Boxing Day. But that's it. That's all I'll do. I'll stop throwing those in for you. So, first and foremost, then, give us the Mansfield Matters group table. So, of course, at the start of the season, it's grown significantly now because, Nick, you have now, I think, officially been on more times than Cam this season. So we might have to add you into the Mansfield Matters table now going forward. But initially it was me, Cam, Nathan, Clive and Alan. So if we just do those five, Ben, the Mansfield Matters table in descending order, please.
Well, I can add Nick in if you want.
Oh, you don't want to?
Go on then. Yeah, go on then. Go on the fly.
In sixth place, Nick. 5 points. But to be fair, you've got to be consistent. Coming later on. So
Yeah.
In fifth place is Cam Felton on 17. Clive's fourth on 19. Nathan's third on 23rd. And in second place is Craig, and Alan is top with 26.
Oh, well done, how many points am I behind Alan?
2 points.
Oh, it's close. It's a close run thing.
Yeah.
Right then, there'll be other people. Of course, Alan, the last time I looked, Ben, wasn't actually the top of the table. For the first time ever, we had a listener at the top. From 10 going upwards, if you could tell me the top 10, please, and see who's made it in at Christmas. Who is going to be Christmas number 1?
It was always going to be from the top 10, Craig, because in 10th place is me. So,
like it.
In joint 8th is Steve Naden and Nathan Edge, both on 23. In joint 4th is Kiwi Stag, Kathy Ohms, JS and Craig Priest, all on 24. David Shetliff is in 3rd. So as Alan won everything tonight, the quiz, the team. No, he didn't. No, he comes second. Alan Wilson on 26, and the Christmas leader, and I think he's a regular listener, and I think he's also been on the pot, is Adam Crump on 27 points. So well done, Adam.
One in it.
Yeah, well done,
Adam.
Excellent work. Well, we've got one last bit of business to conclude, and that is, of course, getting in podcast predictions for Northampton. I'm also going to do Hartlepool tonight. Mainly because those who've watched the podcast for a while will know that I move house tomorrow and don't actually have broadband plumbed in until January. So this is the last time, I think, unless I be able to sneak back in if my dad doesn't change the locks, I'm going to be able to do a podcast until the internet is installed. So I'm going to get both games in now. And of course, we'll put the links on during the week. Make sure you stay tuned to our social media for all of that. Ben, we're going to have to let you go first, of course, because you are the master of the leagues. You're the one that's doing all the spreadsheets and looking after it for us all as well. So let's start off with Northampton at home first.
Right, it's going to be very close, and I'd like to go 1-0, but I can't see us not letting a goal in. But I'm always optimistic. Stags will always win. So 2-1 to Stags, 12th minute. Excellent work. Nick, you're up next.
I'm going to go 2-1 as well, 32nd minute.
Excellent work. Clive, you're next.
1-1 draw, 48.
Okay. Alan, you are up next.
2-1 win Stags, 17th
minute. Now, you see, I was on the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast last night for their preview show, and I was very downbeat and sort of thinking we'd probably lose. But then I was reminded that Northampton very rarely do beat us at home. So I'm going to back us for a Boxing Day win. And do you know what? I think the hammering is coming of sorts. I'm going to be optimistic.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. And
Wow.
the first goal is going to come in the 14th minute. So make sure
I think you'll stay top, Alan, with that prediction.
You probably will, to be fair. Probably will. Get involved with the Northampton predictions. The link is in the description. We'll put Hartlepool on later in the week. Hartlepool away. Let's go in reverse order. So I'll go first. I think we will draw 2-2 in Hartlepool. And I think the first goal will be in the 32nd minute. Alan, you're next for Hartlepool, please.
2-0 win to the Stags, 15.
Excellent work. Clive.
3-1 win, 11.
Excellent work. Nick.
I'm going to go, sorry to all those travelling, 0-0.
Excellent. So no goal needed. And Ben, over to you.
Just a quick mention on the 0-0. If someone would have gone 0-0 every single game this year, they'd be on about 60-odd points. But anyway.
Wow.
And I think the floodgates are going to open. 4-0 to Stags, 7th minute. Let's do it. Come on.
Wow, there you go. Excellent work. So brilliant stuff. As always, if you want to get involved, the link is in the description. Ben, many thanks to you for doing it for you. We'll get you on the podcast again when we're talking more broadly. I'm sure you've got a brilliant insight for us as well and to share your views on all things Stags. Thanks so much for taking part tonight and for doing podcast predictions and getting involved with the stupidity of the show. As always, we'll post podcast predictions on our social media pages. I had edited an outro for tonight, Alan, but do you know what? It was so brilliant at the start, your little poem, that we have to hear it again. So I'm going to put you. I'm going to take you out for a second. I'm going to let you go and put the Santa beard back on. You're going to do it full Santa for us.
Put it on.
Yeah, why we need Santa in the show, so why are you guys to do that? Obviously it is Christmas. Nick, what's your plans for the big day? No doubt with a little one that you'll be borrowing Alan's Santa costume and going full out. Got family around on the day?
Yeah, we're all over the place. I think we're at my mum and dad's in the morning, and then the wife's mum and dad's in the afternoon, and then flitting back and forward and stuff. So yeah, she's only one and a bit, so she'll be 1.5. She'll be excited, I'm sure.
Santa spoiled this Christmas?
Yeah, but she'll be as always with birthday and stuff. It'll be the wrapping that she's more interested in, the boxes. So that seems to get more interest than the actual. What's the present?
I mean, if you do want to give us some empty boxes to play with, pop round to my new gaff tomorrow, and
I need them for January. I'm going to need them boxes.
I'll keep them for you, mate, and then you can have them with pleasure. Ben, what's your plans for Christmas Day? You mentioned earlier you got a couple of daughters. Big family Christmas, or are you going to be hiding away in the man shed?
Yeah, no, I like to be in man shed, but no, it's all about the family. So it's in-laws on Christmas Day, and even on Boxing Day. Even though Mansfield are at home against Northampton, my mum has to come first, so Boxing Day with my mum.
Absolutely.
I'll watch it on iPhone, don't worry.
Yeah. What's that, Mum? I can't hear you. No, what? Just no. Celebrating.
Yeah, shame, but
well, you know, it is a family occasion, Christmas, of course, so family always comes first. Clive, what are you going to be doing on the day? You're going to be sitting in your what looks like something that you'd find in Amsterdam round your neck there.
He's flashing live on the podcast.
Not for the first time.
Can I just say that, and I don't want to come over as a Grinch, but I'm pretty sick of Christmas already because since December the 2nd, I've been out every night on Santa's sleigh with the Lions collecting money for charity. And I'm Christmased out already. So the plans for Christmas is just to do very little, watch a bit of stupid television, eat and drink, and then rip the trimmings down.
Well, there we go. I'll be doing sod all. It's December the 25th to me. Probably packing more boxes. Thanks to everybody that has watched or listened to the podcast this year. We'll try and squeeze one more in before the new year. We always do the sort of end of year special as well. So we'll try and squeeze that in if we can. But if we don't, please accept our sincere apologies this time around. It's not been capable. I hope you guys that have joined us tonight all have a fantastic Christmas in whatever it is that you're doing. I hope you guys at home who are watching live and who are listening as well all do have a fantastic Christmas. Let's hope that it is with 3 points on Boxing Day. But for now, there is only one thing to do, and that is, of course, hand over to the big man himself to deliver his Christmas message and the final outro of what could be 2022 from the Mansfield Matters podcast. It's a message from the big man himself. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. For Santa Claus.
Mansfield Matters is the place where guests all have a good chat, mainly about Mansfield Town, and we are very proud of that. But now Christmas is upon us, and the season's nearly half done. On this week's Mansfield Matters podcast, it's time for some festive fun. Craig asked me to write a ditty, and it's something I like to do. Who remembers the Biscuit Song? A musical masterpiece all the way through. I don't know about you Stags fans, when Stags lose, it really hurts. But it cheers me up no end when Nick's on with his Mansfield Town shirts. Merry Christmas one and all from the Mansfield Matters crew, and tidings of joy and laughter are sent from us to you. We all have one thing in common, when the season's been and gone, to celebrate a Stags promotion and to end up in League One. We all believe that Nigel is the man to take us there. We love reading all your comments. There's plenty for all to share. Players out of position is a favourite, we must say. But does it really matter if Stags win Saturday? Injured players are coming back now, and we might get a settled side. So strap yourself in nice and tight and make sure you enjoy the ride. So thank you all for listening to the podcast week in, week out. With Craig at the helm at Matters HQ, it's something to shout about. Merry Christmas once again, listeners, from Craig, Nathan, Clive, Alan and Cam. And who's looking forward to Santa coming? I know I certainly am. And remember, if we can't get promotion, we'll all feel, and remember, if we get promotion, we'll all feel like we're in heaven. And that SSA number again, 07967 689 597. Merry Christmas.
You don't smell like Santa. You're not Santa. You smell like beef and cheese. You sit on a throne of lies. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Have a great Christmas, and we'll see you next time here on the show for the fans by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast.